Belinda, what's going on? It's been a long time. Yeah, it froze. I think it's better now. I must have hit the wrong button. I need for y'all to go to that page and come on with the show. All right, we're gonna start this from scratch. All right, here we go. Y'all know what it is. Bathroom door. I'm still good. Long time no see. Inbox me your number. I don't know what I did with the number I had. Uh, my week has been pretty good. Been pretty hectic. Like I was saying, why do people start a fight? Come on over to the show page, y'all. Why do people start a fight with you and they get mad when you don't fight like they fight? Flattery will get you everywhere. Hey, boss, Odessa. The page just went down for some reason, so I'm getting everybody to come back over. So I need for y'all to click on this link, Belinda, above where you start, where you said hey, and come to that and join me on the show page. And have you liked the page yet? And left a review about the kind of cute host? So what's going on today? It's June 21st. It's 6:14. I'm here with you. I want to talk about why you're not allowed to. So yeah, you can not on this page, Slee. This is my personal page. If you come to the page where I put the link, then you can. I'm gonna put it one more time just for you. Yeah, if you come to that page, which is where I am doing it, that's the page where you that's the page where you comment and rate. Alright? So yeah, just hit that link and it'll just take you straight over there and just hit the go live thing. And set your thing up for notifications. Thank you, sis. So anyway, I want to comment on the shooting, but I haven't read about it yet. So I don't like to just do loose talking and let emotions run. But let me start the first half of the show off with Law and Order. Okay? And I said this before. You got people who leading y'all astray with the law and order system. Let me give a little background. I was a cop for 22 years. I retired. I did investigations. I did a lot of stuff. Yeah. Forget about what I did. Let me tell you what I know. Hey, Adrian, how you doing, babe? If you want cops to be held to a truer standard, you got to get over wanting to be nosy and protesting. Okay. Yeah. Well, no, this is the one that froze. I just brought it back up in it. This is what happens when we get the video out and everybody gets to see what's going on. All right. For those of y'all who ain't never been locked up or who have and don't understand the system, once you get locked up, a lot of things go into play. And this is where knowing the system is really important. And in most cases, nobody knows the system better than us. All right. So, rule number one, if we know your case is weak, hey, good looking Brenda. As a cop, if I do something as a cop and I know your case is weak, but you still got me on tape doing something, the first thing I want is a speedy trial. Why would I want a speedy trial? How would I know your case is weak? Because I see what the evidence is. And don't get me wrong, photographs say a lot, but there's a lot they don't say because they don't give you the makeup of what happened prior to. But now that I see what everybody else got to see, you wanna convict me based on emotions. The law is the law. It's unemotional. And that's what people, and I get it, don't get me wrong. I understand why you're upset, why certain things are not happening. But convictions don't rely solely on video. They rely on written word. Hey Sharon, what's good? And the report and the fact finding. Hey Candy, when things go to TV too quick and people become emotional and passionate about them, they just want justice right then. And it's never ever going to be that way, especially with cops. There's just too many things going on. The system for cops, you got to look at the cops who've been convicted and see how slow their trial went, how long it took to start. Hey, honey, what's going on? Y'all know y'all on the wrong page, Candy, honey. I need for y'all to come over here to the right page. See? Right there. Random Thoughts with DVP. Click on that link. Come join me. All right? So what happens is, let's just say I'm an investigator and I'm investigating a cop shooting. Okay? There's a lot of things I got to have if I want to make sure the person is convicted. Now, we can go to court anytime. Any of you guys ever been in trouble? John L., what's going on? Come on. There you go. Thank you, honey. Candy, John L. Well, John L., you can stay over here and make sure people, if they come over here, send them to the right page. Isabel Bellevue, show page. You know what it is. Okay, and as I was saying, when this happens as a cop, when I'm investigating another cop, what's more important than anything else is my fact finding. Okay, the videos are cute. They'll tell me a story, but think about this now. Two people can see the same thing. Doesn't mean either one of them is correct or wrong, but they can interpret it two separate ways. So the video can tell you one something, but it doesn't give you a prelude to what happened. Come on over to the show page, Isabel, with your pretty self. All right. So when cops get arrested, right now it's Law and Order, because I ain't seen the tape about the lady that got shot. Who is Kiara? So I'm trying to explain the system for getting cops convicted when they do something, when they go outside of the scope. And people don't understand this. And some of the civil rights people and the freedom fighters, they're giving you bad information because they point and study at the video, and the video says what the video says, but the video doesn't mean anything illegal was done. You need a background for that, especially with cops, because we do have a broad range of power when we can do stuff. And understand this: being in fear, being afraid, is not a reason for a cop to ever shoot. I just didn't see on the thing, Tommy. So one of the most important things is you don't want that video to keep playing, because now I know what you got. Oh, there she is. Hey, Kiara. As an investigator, it's important that I do my footwork and get witnesses. What you want is people saying what happened prior to everything that started. Without that, you really don't know how we got to point A or point B. Like I said, I've seen some of the shootings. There's some that, yeah, I could condemn quickly. Others, not so quickly. There's a lot of questions I got as to why they happen, because there's some things based on my experience as a trainer and as a cop, I would say the shooting was good. Even though everything on the video looked bad, the shooting, I won't say good, the shooting was questionable. Can I say that he did something illegal? Can I say that he acted maliciously? Based off what I see on the video, no. And people don't understand this because they want an emotional response to legal. Legal is legal. Legal will always be logical and based on facts. Okay? But the justice that we want. What's up, Santa? What's up, big boy? Yeah, it's right here. Hey man, y'all cheat me. Sandra, big boy, I need for y'all to come to the show page, because I need the viewership and I need the reviews, because I'm trying to get paid for this. So come on over, hit this link, come join me on this side. Yeah, but video clips won't ever get the entire thing, which is why witnesses are so important. They're so important. That's why regular people get off. And as much people don't want to admit it, we all know regular people who are not in jail, but they committed crimes. It's because the investigation part sucks. Video helps, but without a narrative to tell for people to read and follow along as to how we got here, how we got there, reasonable doubt. Reasonable doubt creeps in. And understand, in the truest form of the legal system on criminal activity, it's a preponderance of the evidence, which is pretty much 90%. Not most of it. I mean, you know, you gotta do the facts lead you that there can be no other thing. I mean, you're pretty much shooting for 100%. I did it though, Tommy. You late, but I'll do it again just for you. You know, I got the iron, but I've got to iron later. And this is what's happening, because some of the cases, with what they give you, and I can speak from a legal perspective because this is what I did. They don't give you enough for a conviction. They give you enough to be mad, outraged, and all this. And so these are the things that we should be fighting for. Is for the process to take its time. And I hear people, why don't we do this? Why don't we do that? And I'm gonna stick to what I said before in the previous show. If you want to change the system, you got one. You got to start getting people involved in the system, not from the outside bitching about what's going on inside. You got to get them on the inside so you can know. You got to get them on the inside so they can know what's going on. And Johnny, I'll hold that thought. I'm gonna get to the don't pull it out, because there's different reasons for that, and a lot of it is based on training. Of course, I didn't pull mine out that much. I did pull it out maybe a few times. And one time I almost shot somebody. I probably would have regretted there wasn't a shoot situation at the end. In the process, it was. What made me not shoot? I don't know. I can honestly look back and say, yeah, I can sit here and say, oh yeah, my training, this and this. But there may have been something in me that could have been actually scared to shoot. I don't know. But there was a point when at the end everybody asked me why I didn't shoot, because I should have shot. Mangle something. But anyway, what I'm saying is, if you want the system to change, ladies and gentlemen, you have to stick to your elected officials, mayors, governors, sheriffs. They're all elected officials. If they don't change the system, how do you think the system will ever change? Hey, Miss Dooley, how are you? So when we sit here trying to say that this is this and there's a brotherhood and we don't snitch on each other, well, you gotta remember this now. How many cops are called to court for this cop shooting? If they weren't there, there's nothing for them to snitch on or not snitch on. We weren't there. And the complaint keep hearing is, why don't good cops why don't they tell on these people? Well, remember now, most people doing illegal stuff don't do it in front of cops. That's kind of stupid. They do it in front of their own kind, people who, once one cop find out who another dirty cop is, that's who they do stuff in front of. They don't do it in front of good cops. So quit thinking that good cops know. We have our idea, but because we're so factually based on stuff, if we haven't seen anything, people just keep telling us. I can give you this. Hey, Jason, what's going on, bro? I assisted in 2 cops being locked up. Okay? But I got tips at first. But the tips weren't anything factual. It's just like, hey, I think this is going on. Luckily for me, they left me some information to call them back from. So when I call to get information, they start giving me real things that I could qualify, that I could put on paper. No, cops don't cover it, and that's the rumor. Tell Vic, I say, hey, that's the rumor, Sharon, that people love to believe that we cover for each other. Understand, good cops will never cover for bad cops. The system says, when a cop does something, if I'm there, I'm just as guilty and I face just as much time criminally and I lose just as much stuff civilly. Understand this about the Rodney King case. Everybody got hurt except for that one lady. Everybody lost something. The reason that one lady didn't do nothing is because she called for help. Now, there's nothing in the law that says I have to stop a bad cop. I just have to do something. If that something is telling somebody or calling for a supervisor, I've done what I was supposed to do, because you can't stop. Okay? But if you remember the lady in the Rodney King case, the one that put out the thing over the CAD, which is the little computer system that they use, she was the one who didn't have to pay anything. Nothing happened to her because she put out a call for help for some more people because she said something was going wrong. That's what helped her. So people will carry on this misconception that cops cover for each other, but cops will not. Not good cops. Not good cops. Now, we're a little bit more lenient because we know some of the situations. We're slower to indict because if we don't see it, we can't. Our whole life is built on not being emotional, which is why people think we have a weird sense of humor. But if you spend weeks, months, years, whatever, seeing dead bodies, molested kids, stuff like that, you learn that you can't take everything so personal. But back to the system of getting it corrected. If you want a correct system, watch who you vote for. Look and see how judges vote. Look and see what sheriffs are telling you when they're running. Look and see what your mayor is doing. These are all elected officials. These are people that we control. Ask them what the training program is. Look at some of these training programs. People want things that, one, ain't going to happen. Most people don't want a longer police academy because everybody needs cops like that. So we shortchange them. So if we shortchange to get cops out there like that, who falls victim? The citizens do. And I can't get y'all to understand enough that all this other stuff that you bitching about, it's legit, but it's not going to change the system. You have to change the system by having people join. I got 3-4 people on my page now who are cops. I'll tell you now, I can speak. Melinda, I know. Not dirty. And if she was, she's never done anything in front of me. Jason, I trained. Never done anything in front of me. With cops telling each other when they see something, yeah, we will. Because it's not worth us losing our stuff. Now, don't get me wrong. Initially, a new cop ain't going to say nothing because he's still in a probationary period. And he's probably 90% of the time worried about his job until he gets off probation. Okay? So I ain't going to sit there and tell you that, but we don't cover. He may not say anything. He may want to just walk off and leave. But when you get to my status, when I was a detective, oh yeah, I'm telling on everybody, which is how I got two of my brothers locked up. Because it ain't worth it to me. So you still looking at who you talking about. But for everybody to just randomly say, and this is what cops, let me tell you this is what cops depend on. They depend on you believing that we won't tell on each other. Remember, the cop that got locked up for raping prostitutes, she told. What was the protection? She was a homeless chick. How did she get him convicted? Because she came with factual data that somebody could actually follow up on. Nobody wants to lose their job for a scumbag. Don't ever believe that. Even scumbags don't want to lose their job for a scumbag. That's why they snitch on each other. So if you bring a cop some factual data, 9 times out of 10, we got somewhere we can go with it where we can investigate. But if you just tell me, oh, I think somebody's doing something. If you think everybody thinks cops are dirty. And don't get me wrong. I worked undercover for a number of years, but even prior to that, when I was a hell of a detective, I did some things that were sketchy. To get to what I found some kidnapped kids. I did some things that were highly illegal. I don't regret them. I don't regret them. But I knew what they were at the time. But my goal to find those kids was worth it to me at that point. Okay? So when people say what we do and don't do, now, and once again, you still want the training and you want to know why people are doing things. So if you want this, like I said, I listen to all these church leaders and all these other people, him and the hawing, but understand, during election times, these churches get all these visitors come tell you why you should vote for them. But in a time of crisis, do these same congressmen and sheriffs and police and mayors volunteer to come to churches? So your churches, it'll be held accountable. And I'm going to stick to this till the day I die, as far as we go. It's not blaming anybody or displacing blame. But until we hold each other in higher esteem, it will always be easy for us to be prey to anybody, whether it's cops, whether it's another race, whether it's anything else, because we hold each other in such low esteem. And we don't want to say that. Everybody wants to talk about what they do and who they know. But if you look at your Facebook timeline, you got some people on there. Everybody says, oh, I pick my friends. I don't care who you pick. You got people in your family who ain't shit. You definitely got people on Facebook who ain't. So that doesn't sway. We all know those people who ain't. But what can we prove? Everybody got their cousin Pooka Ray Ray. We know ain't shit. We won't give him a ride in the car, but we happy to see him at the picnic. Copping is the same way. But what can we prove? And cop's life is based on proof. What can I prove another cop did wrong? If he didn't do it in front of me, I'm maliciously slandering somebody because I can't prove nothing they're saying. And then who becomes a target? Because why am I saying something about something can't prove? Sharon called me and tell me that she think, and I'm just using Melinda. Sharon says she think Melinda dirty. And I'm saying, Sharon, well, what did Melinda do? Well, I think she did this. And that's cute. But you thinking she did something ain't reason for me to start something. Well, I mean, what do you want me to go on? You want me to ask Melinda? And chances are Melinda's going to say no if she's doing something wrong. So if Sharon can't give me anything concrete to start an investigation other than a thought process, what would you see her do? Oh, I saw her run a light. She just ran it for no reason. Ladies and gentlemen, let me just tell you something. I cut my siren on because the radio put out a call for help for somebody. I cut my siren on, ran a light, and 3 seconds later, radio canceled it. Now, I got a ton of people who out there who just see what they see, and they think that I just use my lights and siren to run the light. Oh, look at him. That's all he doing. Because they don't know the system. So if you don't know the system, what's up, Eli? How can you say what's going on? So you can say what you think. Now, if you take that same complaint to internal affairs, whoever, you're going to say, oh, they just covering. But when they sit there and they say, well, they're going to say, well, what happened? And I'm going to tell them, they're going to pull up the tape and see. And the case is closed. They just protecting each other. They're not protecting each other. He's doing his job. But if we don't get the answer we like, we always say somebody's protecting somebody. Sometimes you just don't know the real reason something happened. And sometimes you'll never know because some things, even in our world, are classified. And that's okay, Sharon. You're free to talk. But I can tell you, like I said, your dad was a cop. But I was a cop, so I can tell you firsthand. It ain't about what nobody thought or what I thought somebody did. I'm telling you what I did firsthand. And the trouble I got in for doing things because people's perception was something else. They perceive me to be doing something because they don't want to like me. Or they don't want to like the uniform or what I stand for. And I'm cool with that. But all I'm saying is when cops, and there are bad cops out there, like they're bad people. I'm not trying to compare the two. What I'm trying to say is, yeah, these cops, the bad cops need to be held in check. But for that to happen, there has to be a system in place that will hold them in check. And it cannot be an emotional system. As a cop story, they threatened the family. And Sharon, don't get me wrong, but you're talking about back in the day. And I ain't going to argue with nothing about back in the day, because back in the day, yes, that was the way it was. There weren't so many civil suits. There wasn't so much litigation. There wasn't the threat of always suing somebody. This new wave ain't happening. We teach them this at the academy now, that you can't do this because you lose just as much. Especially, and remember, Sharon, we came from a different era where people stuck together. But we came from an era also where people weren't as bad. The cops back in the day who were doing bad stuff, most time, and I'm not balancing them, but most of the cops back in the day were just stealing. Very few of them were killing people. They were stealing. They might have took unfair advantage of women who didn't want to get tickets or whatever. And I'm not saying that is by any means acceptable. But what they were doing back in the day doesn't compare to the killings. We didn't. Cops weren't killing a bunch of people back in the day. But also remember, back in the day, we had more respect for each other. When we killed each other back in the day, it was because somebody had truly wronged somebody else. Now we kill each other over shoes, over girlfriends, over the craziest shit. So the two eras are totally different in that respect, Sharon. Because I understand what you're saying. I'm agreeing with what you're saying. But nowadays, I mean, back then you had the mob and the mafia to worry about. That's who the other side was. Now, I can't say it's a good side versus a bad side, because the good side is not that deep. It's like when I ask people all the time, do a survey for me. Go to your Facebook page. Ask your people how many of them been pulled over by cops. And right, Durham Brown. See how long that trial took though? And Durham Brown, and people saw that was different because he killed a cop. He was a black cop. But I'm gonna get into that, Rosalind. But on your timeline one day, ask your friends how many of them ever been pulled over by the police. Hey, Janae, the cop might have had a bad attitude, but everybody who answers understand something. They lived through that situation. And ask them how many people do they know? Do they know? Not know of. How many people do they know they got killed by cops, or even got beat up by cops? And watch the numbers start doing when people want to tell you some other stuff they heard, they think, or that they read about, but they don't know this. Now, if you ask this same group of people, how many of them have been harmed by somebody that looked like them? Watch the numbers and see how they compare. And I'm just saying, we're demanding so much. So now, you know what I need for you to do? Because y'all get me in trouble still. I need for you to come to this page, if you would, and join us in the discussion so that I don't get in trouble with management. Exactly. We just got pulled over. Actually, you got pulled over twice. Not once did he reach for his gun. And it was a car full of black people. Was it not time at 3 black people? Did he ever pull his gun out? And he wasn't even rude. Neither one. And we got pulled over by a white guy and a black guy. What happened? And they didn't know I was a cop. So, no. Fraud. Understand what I'm saying? We're not talking about situations. You came in late. We're talking about how to get justice for them. And all I'm saying is the situations, the setup is always the same. Cops have to show up. There has to be somebody there. So those situations will always be the same. Okay? Right. And I'm not saying people don't know him, Roz. I'm just saying. What am I comparing, Fraud? I was talking about trying to get cops convicted. So what am I comparing apples to oranges to, Fraud? Right, and all I'm saying is they survive. So when people keep saying how bad cops are, that's just that's like me saying how bad black people are, because I can always find something about black people. So we need to have a real life stat. But I don't even want to get into that. I want to get back into the basis of getting cops convicted without the media coverage is what's killing them. And as long as you got the media coverage doing it like it's doing, and it's so on overkill, you get people emotional and they make irrational decisions. Everybody who's there to help you can't help you or won't help you. The churches won't help you. The mayor won't help you. The sheriff won't help you. These judges, these are all people that you elect. How was that? No. And so you missed it. Fraud. That's because people keep wanting to say all cops are, or most cops are. And most people have been pulled over at one time. So you got to drop the most cops. So no, that's not comparing apples to oranges. That's comparing real world to what you read. Because nobody hears about, very rarely do we hear about good cops. So everybody who's been pulled over, whether the cop was shot them or had a bad attitude, and a lot of us have bad attitudes, they live through it. So if you're going to make a blanket statement, have some factual data behind it. That's all I'm saying, Farrar. So no, it's not apples and oranges. I'm just comparing situations, because you can't sit there and blanketly say that cops are this, and then by the same token in reverse, get mad when cops say they're scared of black people, because we notorious to have songs about killing, raping, and shooting. So that's not different. You don't have to like it, but it's the same. I give an example when I pull over a guy and he playing F the Police. Really? Yeah, it's his constitutional right. Listen, whatever he wants to. But you really think that's the appropriate song to be playing, and you want me to be a professional? I ain't gonna say I was scared, but I did put my hand on it, because I don't know if he's that guy who believes that song or not. Whereas if I pull over somebody else, they don't got the song playing. They get a whole different cop. All right? I'm not saying that there aren't bad cops, which is what I was talking about with the system in play with video. When you show too much on video, why do you think they'll ever show rape videos? They can blot out the victim, but you don't ever see rape videos because it makes it too hard to prosecute the case. When people run and show all this stuff, there's a way to get it done because whoever's taking the video is a witness. But a lot of times these witnesses don't come forward because they, just like Sharon said, where they think cops protect each other. Cops don't protect each other. Not good cops, but we just don't know enough because we've never seen it. Okay? But this is what we're all taught. That shit roll down here, and I'm here to tell you firsthand, it doesn't. But if you don't hold people accountable as voters, as citizens of your community, you won't get the system to change because everybody who you want to change it can't. You can tell me about a bad cop all day long and ask me what I'm going to do about it. Well, until you give me factual data, there's nothing on earth I can do about it. Nothing. I can't take it to an investigator and say, hey, you need to check this out because my friend said he's dirty, but my friend only wants to talk to me. They're not going to do it. If you believe it, you got to follow through with it. Which is, again, when I said about the girl who got raped by the cop, even the one, I don't know if y'all remember the ones y'all from Georgia. Remember there was a cop in DeKalb County that was picking up homeless people and killing them, taking them to Gwinnett? Somebody called the cops. A lady called the cop because she didn't know why a DeKalb County car was on her property in Gwinnett. And he never came to it. See, we won't protect each other. But when you give us something that we can hold on to, because why the DeKalb County cop was in Gwinnett was a mystery to everybody. He couldn't explain it. An investigation's open. Because, yeah, he could have just been loafing. But Gwinnett, why go to Gwinnett? Why are you in a patrol car? What were you doing? See, it's easy to convict us when the media doesn't have a lot to do with it. Okay? Roslyn talked about the Derwin Brown Sidney Dorsey shooting. You heard a lot about it, but you heard a lot of the story, but it gave him time to investigate. And I say that's kind of different because it was a cop killing the cop. But they were still both black. But Sidney Dorsey is in prison. When I tell you we had white cops I work with prison for killing the white guy at the Gold Club. If you remember the Neal Street crew was an old lady that they killed. Conviction. So when people say it doesn't happen, I'm not sure what they comparing it to. It may not happen to the cases that they name, but it happened. Hey, Gayla, what's going on? It happens more than they want to admit to. And everybody say, oh, they won't do this. If we got hard, tangible evidence that we can write down on paper and qualify, let me just tell you this, and most of y'all ain't gonna understand this. I teach at the academy. Probable cause. Probable cause is what you need to arrest somebody. And probable cause is a set of facts and circumstances that will lead a reasonable and prudent person to believe that a crime has been, or about to be committed by the person being detained. Facts and circumstances. You can't have one or the other. You need both facts and circumstances. This is factual. Okay? Based on what I know, these are the circumstances that happen here. Okay? The video won't give you that. What the video will do is show you what happened, but it won't show you what happened prior to. Okay? It won't. And what you got to get to when people want convictions is you have to get to the facts. The one in Florida with the Arizona T. Somebody shoot me his name right quick. The young kid. Tragedy. But I told him once I read the Florida law, there was no way he was going to get convicted. Legally, he didn't do anything wrong. You don't have to like it. Trayvon Martin, right? Legally, the white guy did nothing wrong. Morally, everything he did was wrong. You don't get convicted on morality crimes in the legal system. And it's about what you say, how you say it, and what leads up to it. And that's what I can't get people to understand. It was like, oh, we don't know all this. And you're right, you don't. And it's not your job to know. But I helped two people on Facebook. One of them who brother got said, hey, these are the things you need to do. Because people won't tell them. Because you're dependent on these so-called freedom fighters or these camera grabbers. Oh, it's an injustice to this. But if I can't tell you what it takes to break a law, the elements of that crime, that's what you get your convictions on. The elements of a crime. Every crime that is in a code book tells you what you have to do to be guilty of that crime. If I don't meet that because you see something, it's all you see me shoot somebody. If I shoot somebody, is a crime being committed? No. All you see is me shooting somebody. You have to go into a lot more. You see me shooting somebody. First thing first, am I a convicted felon? And that is really the first question. Should I have a gun? If I shouldn't have a gun, then I committed a crime. The crime is possession of a firearm by a felon. That's it for right now. That's all you got. Even in self-defense, ladies and gentlemen, if I'm a convicted felon, I can't defend myself with a firearm. So you have to know the law. Okay? Now, I'm just giving you a scenario. If I'm a convicted felon, and I'm going to use Honey because I know Honey ain't sensitive, and Honey is trying to attack me, and I shoot Honey, and Honey dies, one, my first crime is possession of a firearm by a convicted felon because I'm a convicted felon. That's factual data. There are no circumstances to that. Regardless of the crime, the fact that I'm a felon with a gun is illegal. Okay? Georgia. This is only in Georgia. In Georgia, it becomes felony murder because I committed a crime while being a criminal. Other than that, even if Honey was attacking me, now I'm guilty of felony murder, but not murder. Because I was defending myself. Murder requires that I'm being the aggressor. Felony murder requires that I'm in the commission of a crime and commit a crime. So because I'm a convicted felon, I shot somebody, that's a whole separate crime. Whereas if I'm not a convicted felon, it's simple involuntary manslaughter. And this is where you have to know what the law says, because people get so caught up in what they think as opposed to what it is they know. Ruben, Latrunda, how y'all doing? Melinda, stop playing. I need for y'all to come to the show page so people can see what y'all saying and keep me out of trouble. And plus, I need the reviews and the likes. Come on over to this page and join me over here. So, Big Boy says not only that, but the district attorney charges them with the wrong charge. And understand this, district attorneys are elected, but what they do is they feed into your appetite. Hey, Latrunda, come to the show page. Come on over. I need a recommendation and a like. Okay? So the DA is charging based on what the community is demanding. So he's giving you what you think you want, but it's not what you want. Because what he's doing is he's almost ensuring that he's going to lose the case, but he's appeasing the public. Because so many times we're so quick to say what we want, and it's not what we want. We got to do this the right way. And this is one of the things I try to tell everybody. And they think I'm being anti, and I'm not. But for you to get a cop conviction, you gotta lay the proper groundwork, because it is way more different than convicting a normal person. Because it is hard. One, no agency should ever investigate itself, especially for a felony. Ever, never. Guess what? The feds, 9 times out of 10, can only come in if they're invited in, or the commission or the crime is a federal crime. See, most people don't know this. The feds don't. It ain't like fucking Criminal Minds or some of these other shows. You have to invite the feds into your world. They can't just come in unless you commit a bank robbing is a federal crime. The feds can always come in. If you cross state lines, federal crime. The feds don't need your permission. But if I shoot somebody, and like I say, I'm just using Honey because I know Honey ain't sensitive. But if I shoot Honey in my home, let's just say I'm still like the cop. The feds don't have any jurisdiction. None. Where I live, the agency does. They should go to GBI, or if it's a high-profile crime, they should go to the feds, because then you have a less chance of the feds being tainted. Okay? Because you're going to get a lot of people who say they don't know this stuff, and sometimes they don't know. And this is where I think a lot of us get confused. Because I don't know doesn't mean I'm helping my outside. It just means I don't want to say anything that's not factual, because then it comes back to me. So now I lose my credibility. So when we're trying to get cops convicted, and this is where I want to stay focused on this. We have to get people, get rid of Jesse Jacksons, get rid of the get rid of the Sharpton, get rid of all these people who are grandstanding for a TV audience. Get people who are going to get behind the scenes, know how to do open records act, get these reports, and get what it is they need. Get a competent outside investigator in to come investigate these crimes. Because until we get that system in place, there will always be an easy way for cops to get out. Because most of the time, when it's an in-house killing, we're really, and I'm going to speak generally for most cops, we're really not prepared to investigate our own. Either because we got ties to them, we either like them or we don't. And that can influence our decisions. No matter how much we try to stay true to the system, we can still be influenced by things we know or people who say little things. Because then that line does become blurry. Am I thinking this person? I investigated a guy who I didn't like, and I had to work extra hard in my mind to make sure he was guilty. Because every time somebody told me something, even if it was true, I was telling myself, nope, you just don't like this guy. So I made them, I still had to prove what they were saying to me because I knew that I didn't like him already. Right, somebody who can't be bought or somebody who can't be influenced by the people around them. There's no way if I was an internal affairs investigator that I would be capable of investigating a captain or lieutenant. They outrank me. They can use pool, and it's still even when I have to talk to them, they outrank me. In my mind, that's still there. And Ruben was an internal affairs investigator, and he could tell you. And I respected Ruben. I didn't like him when he was doing what he was doing, but I can say that Ruben was one of the more fairer guys. I ain't gonna tell you how he investigated me, but I didn't say nothing to him. He's doing his job, and I would tell anybody. Ruben was a good example of this. When you're doing your job, what you want first is for everybody to be innocent. That keeps you on a clearer path, because now you need to get proof to convict him. If you're thinking, oh, he guilty and that's it, what happens is, and this happens more times than you guys realize, and it's the exact reverse of what you guys think. When we want to convict somebody so bad because of the court of public opinion, we half-ass investigation. We don't get all the stuff we need because we think it's an easy case. So now I did a half-ass investigation, and when I turn this over to the district attorney, who may have the best of intention, I didn't give him nothing to convict him with because I did half-ass investigations. And this is why you want somebody from an outside source who has nothing to do with it. Because now you get somebody who doesn't know who he's dealing with. He doesn't know if he's a good guy or a bad guy. He's just asking people. Some people are going to say, yeah, he's a good guy. Some people are going to say, yeah, he's a bad guy. And that's what we're not getting from these freedom fighters or these people who fighting for us. Oh, we're going to stop this. We're going to stop this. Well, one, killing ain't going to never stop, whether it's cops or regular people. That's just because some people are hardwired for that. But what we can do is make the system more palpable to us. And by us, right now I'm talking black. And really, and Ruben just said what I said. Innocent until I prove you guilty. Not guilty until you prove yourself innocent. And you got to, as long as you got that mindset, cases are really, really easy. But you work harder because this is your reputation. You want to put down stuff that's factual. You want to put down a bunch of he say, she say about stuff that you can't prove. Well, Ruben investigated me. Ruben gonna say, well, Bell must have did it because 90% of the department don't like him. That's not punishable by criminal actions. It's probably suspendable, but it's not punishable because most people don't like me. Did I do something illegal? Is the only question that Ruben is dealing with when he's got to investigate me. Did I commit a crime or a faux pas? A faux pas means I'll get suspended by the department. A crime means I'll get fired by the department. And this is what, when I try to talk to people about this and they think I'm picking cops, and I'm not. I'm just telling them, understand the system, which is why I hate videos being released and played over and over again. Because if Ruben is investigating me and he think, and this we just talking about at the beginning, he see this on TV, and I know he ain't got enough, but I want a speedy trial. A speedy trial means you got to try me sooner than later. So, because I don't want you to get time to gather evidence. And this is what we want so badly sometimes, people, and we got to stop wanting it. Because most criminals don't get speedy trials. You'll see that cops get trials way quicker than the average person because we ask for them. So if we take that option away and the Rubens of the world can truly investigate a crime, listen to me, for 12 to 18 months. When you're talking about murder, especially with a cop, if all you got is a 6-week investigation, I'm going to even say if all you got is 12 weeks, you stand a great chance of losing. Because Fraud, I'm confused on what you just put. Right, and Ruben is, and that's why it works even better if you're not even from the agency, because then you don't have to worry about no pressure of the sheriff saying, hey, what's this and what's that. I'm watching the show. What's the show on TV now with the black girl and the black guy? It's actually pretty good. Hey, Marcus, come on over to the show page, bro. And right, but this is the thing. And don't get me wrong, a lot of bad cops don't know. But I'm reading statements from people because I'm looking at the stuff. Like, so I ain't had a chance to go over the killing with the lady. I want to go over that one later. And for all, maybe Shots Fired. Shots Fired is actually a pretty good show because you can see them getting pressure from the higher up, and you can fall prey to that pressure and present a shitty case. but it looks good. Hey, Tim, what's going on? Come to the show page, Random Thoughts with DVP. They want to hear y'all over here. Shots Fired is a great. It was actually a pretty good show for the most part. I mean, there was a few little, but Shots Fired, Law and Order, SVU. Those are pretty much online if you want to stay with. I mean, they do some stuff for TV, but it gives you a process. And right, Shots Fired probably got fired because it was a little too real. You know, we like the dirty cop shows because you know that's what most people just want to believe, and it's easier for them. But it's not how the system works. And this is why I try to tell people, hey, this is what we can do. This is because I know the cop side. I know this, and I've been an investigator. Ruben been an investigator, but people don't want us. They don't want to talk to us. Ruben probably got in more trouble for not getting me suspended or something that wasn't suspendable at the time because it was actually justifiable. But his co-workers didn't care if I got suspended, and this is what you don't understand. I'm gonna drift off for a second, but I'm gonna come back. Ruben can sit there and type up a report to get me suspended. Okay, this is what's gonna happen. I'm gonna get suspended for, we'll just say 5 days. I'm gonna file my appeal. 8 to 12 months later, I'm gonna win my appeal. They're gonna get my 5 days back. So all I got was a paid vacation anyway. So people are getting upset about certain things. But let me just tell you how the system works. Because a lot of people are getting upset because of this severance package this guy's getting. And I don't know, like I said, I never read it. But let me tell you about what a severance package really means. Let's just say I committed a crime. And this is the system now. And I was found not guilty. Well, chances are they're going to let me go anyway. But you have to pay me for my vacation time that I've accrued. You have to pay me for my holiday. You got to pay me for all this. All this time that I accrued, you still have to pay me for it. So whether they call it a severance package or whatever, and people say, well, how is he still getting paid? Well, in the eyes of the law, I'm innocent. So, no, they may be able to cancel my retirement, but they can't cancel what I work for. So, let's say when I retired, I had 500 vacation hours. I had 1,000 holiday hours. Somebody still got to pay me for that. Even if I go to jail for a crime, if I got convicted, they cannot not pay me for that. It's the law. You know, workman's comp thing, the whole work HIPAA. I'm not HIPAA. These are legal things they got to pay me for. So people say, oh, he's still getting paid. When cops get put on administrative leave, what you just learned, Latrunda, that you ain't came to the right page yet. When cops get put on administrative leave, you know why they get put on administrative leave? Smartest thing going, and people don't even realize it. Because they want you to burn up your time so they don't have to pay you in the end. Because as long as I got leave time, this system is clear. You have to pay me for this. Now, when my leave time run out, even though I'm still on administrative leave, it's not paid anymore. But like I say, most of us don't understand this system, so we don't get it. But it ain't no different than if you got a regular job. If you get fired from your regular job, if you at your regular job, let's just say tomorrow's payday for whatever reason. If I came and lock you up today, your job, you know they still got to pay you, right? They still have to pay you. It's no different with cops. Anything that I've done, they still got to pay me for. You can't take away the work that I've done. You can't take away the 32 hours that I worked up until the point of being arrested. I still got to get paid for that. And I'm watching the emotions rise from people because they don't understand how the system works. And when I try to explain it to them, you get mad at me. Oh, that ain't fair. Well, all laws ain't fair. But they are the laws. So if we don't take a time and look at them, once again, I'm going to go back. I remember telling people, because I had a bunch of people from Florida call in, we did the Trayvon Martin thing. But how many of y'all going to go to these meetings and try to change that law? The law that got Trayvon Martin killed, guess what? It's still on the books. Ain't nobody said nothing about it. So it's waiting for somebody else to get killed for the same thing. That's on us. That's on us. Because, and I hear people all the time, oh, we need to riot, we need to boycott. No, we need to assemble and go to these meetings where these things are discussed. We need to lobby for our own cause. We need to build from within and get people to go in and fight the system. So what it sounds like to me is our people need to be informed. Yes, they do. And this is the thing, Farad. When you try to inform them, most people just want to get upset because you still ain't saying what they want to say. And that's what's so distressing to me, because I can sit there and tell them all day long and they'll still want to argue with me. But my argument is based on legality, not how I feel, not what I think. The law is the law, and until you change it, it is the law. Okay, so it's certain things that okay. Let me give you a quick for instance. So yeah, but those aren't the people that are no, but Farad, it is. Don't get me wrong, Farad. It's a lot of people who follow me for whatever reason. They are agents for change, but what they did, they still get into emotions more than anything else. And when you try to have a logical conversation, because I can't be emotional about this, I have to be logical. And I tell people, anytime you want me, I will come tell you. I will bring books and show you. But there's people like, we don't want him because he won't say what we want to hear. I mean, I've been to a couple of meetings and was not asked to come back because all they want to do is sit there and spread venom and tell people why you should ride, why you should do this, why you should lose your job fighting for a cause that they ain't gonna lose their job for. It's back when when I was talking about the Black Lives Matter thing. You didn't see them saying do stuff during normal business hours because they had jobs. They wanted you to do this after hours when everybody's off work. Who matters? They ain't never tell you to sit in. Go if we gonna block something, go sit in front of the courthouse. But that's when they work, so they don't want you to do that. And so I'm saying some of the people who prescribe to beat all this are giving the most bogus information, and that's why I had an issue with Black Lives Matter. I get the premise, but you don't want to do nothing during business hours. You want to do everything after business hours, and that's crazy to me. Hold on. So paid administrative leave means they are not on specific payroll. They are on payroll because they have to be. You can't take somebody off payroll as long as they got time. Okay? If you do, you have to pay them a lump sum for that, which is what Buddy getting paid his severance package. And that's what I'm trying, right, but it's pretty much the same concept, Roslyn. You got to understand the concept that if I built up this time and I built up these hours, you still got to pay me for them, whether you like me or not, whether I did something illegal or not. You got to pay me this. Fair Labor Standards Act won't let you get around that. That is federal. Federal. Now, and this is what I try to get people to understand. Let's just say one of these progressive agencies like, well, we don't care. Well, what they just did will cost you tax dollars, because if you fire me without giving me mine and you make me sue to get it, now you got to pay damages. Okay? So now you got to pay me, if you don't owe me $10,000 in this severance package, now that you made me go this whole time without it, this $10,000 put me behind, I lost stuff, now you got to pay me damages. So you could have paid me $10,000, but now you're going to have to pay me $100,000. And that's the system. So they are not on hourly. They're using, yeah, I mean, because pretty much the way your leave is done is based on hours. So, like, say if I got 400 hours, so typically that'll be an 8-hour day. So 400 hours, what's that? 40 days if I work 10-hour days, whatever. Y'all will figure it out. 50 days. I got 50 days of leave time before my time run out, which is why I'm pushing for a speedy trial. The sooner we can go to trial, the sooner we can get this done. No, the paid leave, like you got a job now. Yes? How many personal days do you have? And see, we get them in different ways. We get sick time, which we don't get paid for if something happened. Holiday time, comp time, which is when we work overtime. Vacation days, which you get just from working. Yeah, I ain't gonna shoot your bird, but yeah. So as long as I got them 50 days, you gotta pay me for them. So if I get in trouble while I'm an active duty cop, they gotta use my leave time first before they can take me off the payroll. I mean, it's really no different than FMLA or anything else. I can take off if my wife was to have a baby, but if I don't have any, and it's all gonna be under sick leave. But if I don't have any sick leave built up or any other built-in time, I'm off the payroll, which is why you don't see a lot of guys doing it, because they never earn this kind of time. So most people can't take off 3 months because they don't have 3 months of time built up. Because the law only says you can't fire me. But I got to have this time built up to ensure I still got a job. And that's what most people don't understand about the whole cop system. So unless cops are just never ever working late or working holidays, or they just started, the leave time is built in. So they're gonna get paid leave or administrative leave, however you want to call it. They're all the same thing. It's gonna be paid until the time runs out. It's just the way it is. And when we try to tell you why certain things happen so that you'll know ahead of time, these are the things we can expect. And I watch people, and they never give you these as private citizens. And people think I'm speaking, defending the cops. I'm just telling you the system. Like I say, you don't have to like it. You don't even have to like me. But facts are facts, and that's all I can give you. Well, that just ain't right. A lot of shit ain't right. It still happens. It still happens. the point is, if we want these cops to get convicted, Latrina, you never told me what you learned. I'm still waiting. And why ain't y'all on the page? Hey, Tim, because I'm still waiting for y'all to comment over here. Come to my show page, please. People want to see what y'all got to say. And this is where we're trying to get everybody to go. Oh, shit. Help me get, I keep hitting the wrong button. Help me get sponsorship. So come over to the page. I need viewers and I need comments and I need likes and reviews. So, paid personal time. No, paid personal time is those same things that Melinda just said. You got to get that. Even on the FMLA, you got to have the sick, holiday, or comp time built in. FMLA just means you can't be fired. I can't be fired if I'm sick. I can't be fired if I decide to take off because my wife got a vacation. That's all FMLA gonna cover. It means they have to let me off for one of those reasons. I don't get paid unless I got time on the books. So I can be under FMLA with no time. It just means my job is secure. That's all it means. But as long as I got sick, vacation, or holiday, they got to pay me. It comes out of my time. So that system will always be in play. And these are the things that people who, when they start telling you about these cops, what they're going to do, they never give you this information. And it just serves to make you more inflamed. Oh, he getting paid for this? Yeah, everybody get paid for it. Right. So, right. But what I was saying, Melinda, is once you get it, you know, if you don't have no time, they're gonna still give it. You can't be fired for it. Well, that back then, I don't know what the law is now because I don't have to keep up with it. But you got to know what the system is and how it's going to affect you. But if you want to be the agent of change for we telling people you got to start. We have a vote. Most of us, we still vote for these judges. We still vote for the mayors. We still vote for sheriffs. We vote for governors. These are 4 elected officials who have a lot to do with the law. Okay? Because the mayor picks the police chief. If the mayor won't pick the police chief, then why we keep electing him? Okay? The governor is responsible for everybody. The sheriff, his deputies. The mayor picks the police chief who employs policemen. The system is pretty simple. The governor is over the state police. The system is pretty simple. So as opposed to saying what we gotta have, and don't get me wrong, people, I'm never gonna not train. I believe in training. But once again, if you look at bare numbers, most cops aren't killers. So it's not necessarily training, it's effective management and supervision. Okay? Most cops, Ruben, you still here with me? Most cops who commit the heinous crime have a jacket full of stuff before that. And nobody, supervisors, managers, or top leaders never do anything about it. Never ever. There are very few cops who get in that much trouble and it's the first time. The lady that shot the guy, I want to say in South Carolina, had a jacket full of stuff. Aren't cops union? A lot of times, yeah. Like, we had a union, but I didn't deal with the union because the union is crap. Then where do we go for them for? Fraud. And this is what I tell everybody. You know people. You get Ruben, you get me, you get somebody who will come in and tell it to people. Because the worst thing, and this is one of the things I hate, is when people try to pass information. Because for all you may hear everything I'm saying, but you may not explain it the way it needs to be explained. You'll explain the way you heard it, and that may not be accurate. So you find the Rubens of the world, you find the Melindas, you find the DVPs, and you say, hey, come and explain to us how this works, how we can make this system right. And if you don't like what I'm saying, ask questions. Don't be upset. But the most important thing, don't get upset with me for being honest with you about why certain systems won't work under the way they're currently written. You have to get somebody who knows, not somebody. Pastors and preachers don't know unless they're cops. They don't know. They're sitting there once again. They're feeding into your emotions. They're feeding into your emotions. Get somebody who will tell you straight, whether you like it or not, this is why this does or does not work. And this is what a lot of people, which is why I said, for all, we need to get on the show. Because it's like when I had Lanice on the show. Lanice is Lanice. And you know she's a fireball. But there were some things that she didn't understand. But I needed her aggression to come out so that I can explain them. Which is why I want you and your wife. Because I know that you guys aren't upset with me. But there's some emotional things that you guys say. And sometimes I have to avoid y'all page. Because sometimes y'all pushing me a little too hard. But I know that you mean it from a good place. So I'm good with that. But there are things I want to enlighten you guys about. I just don't want to get into a long back and forth on Facebook sometimes. Which is why I say, we're going to get together. We're going to do a show. Because I need you guys' energy so that I can explain to people why certain things are happening, why some of it is good, why some of it is not good. Hey, Maria Jimenez, how are you doing? And this is what I want to get people into, is understanding how the system works, how you can make it better, what actually needs to be done. But and it's cool that you're coachable, for, but it's not coaching that I want you to do. I want you to be able to see. Before I start teaching, I sat with my dad. I taught my dad. I assisted my dad for almost 2 years before I ever tried to do it myself, because I need to make sure I can answer any questions without saying, "Hold on, let me have to call somebody." And at this point, when I was telling people before what we should do, let's just say, and this is what I want to do. I want to have a main group. Let's just say me, you, Farad, 10 other people, and y'all 10 go out and get subgroups, and let's come back as a collective with my core group. You tell me what needs to be answered, and I can give all y'all the answers, and we can keep doing this every quarter, or however we need it. You come here to get this, and everybody branch out and do their own little substations. Because what I can't do is I can't be in 20 places at one time. It's not convenient for the people in Gwinnett, Douglas, Cobb, all these places to try to come to me. But it's convenient for me to get somebody who can go to all them places and come back to me. What's up, Rashid? Y'all gonna stop being hard-headed, and y'all gonna join me on the... Come on over, Maria. Rashid, I would love to set up something. And Roz, and I'm good for that. And if you want to do that, those are the things I want to come to. Those are the things. I mean, I've met with police chiefs. I've met with sheriffs. And, when they say, well, what's wrong? And I tell them why their training is inadequate for today's needs. Like I say, everybody want this, want that. But with the streets being where they are, most of these people can't afford to pull cops off the street to be educated by me. Because I can't give them the education that they need in 20 minutes. I can't give it to them in an hour or two. They have to give me a minimum of 3 days to get it into their system for us to do role playing so they can understand shoot, don't shoot scenarios. I mean, we got drills for that, but what happens is it's all on camera. But until I put it to you and I'm in your face, anybody who's been to one of my classes, Melinda's a great example. Melinda came to my officer survival class. Melinda kicked the shit out of me. She hurt me. She kicked me so hard that I knew if she kicked me again, I was going to have to give up, so I let her kick her partner. But she got caught up in the moment, which is what I needed, because what she did, she kicked me. Some agency would have suspended her for that, but she didn't pull out her gun to shoot me, because what I was doing, her pulling out her gun would have put her partner in more danger. This is why I respected her when she first came, because most people want to pull their gun on me because of my skill level. You can't shoot me because I'm a better fighter than you. Until I put you in jeopardy, that's a whole nother story I don't want to get into right now. But this is the system. So, yeah, I would love for my people to have subgroups. Come to me as a group. Let me tell you guys, or you bring questions to me, which is why I open my inbox up. One of the things we want to do, thanks Farad, and I've been slacking, and Doug, he's not here yet, is I want to start doing a law and order segment and just give you guys legal tips of things that have to happen legally. Legally speaking, you never have to have ID on you unless you are driving a vehicle. The law requires that for you to operate a motor vehicle on a government street, you have to have a valid driver's license. It says it's supposed to be on your person. Now, most cops ain't going to sweat you. Once you give them your name and everything, they can pull up and see. But that's the one. But walking up and down the street, you don't need ID unless, this is just random stuff, unless you live in the city of Atlanta in one of their housing projects. Because it's in your lease that you will have an ID on you, and anybody who comes on the property is supposed to have ID, which technically means it's a concentration camp. Legally speaking, and most of them ain't around no more, but there's still a few. But like the Bankhead homes, the Bankhead Court, the Bourne homes, all those, if you didn't have ID that said you lived there, you weren't allowed there. That's in the lease. To be on that property, because it was government property, you had to have a government ID that said you stayed there. It was in your lease. Trust me. Trust me. Trust me on this. I've worked with the city on going some things. That's why they want your ID to see what it say. So if you stay in Bankhead Court and you got an MLK address, you're trespassing. Trespassing is a misdemeanor. It's against the law. I think a lot of officers like that, they pull. And I won't say that I mean, and if we talk about a lot, if we say 10 is a lot, then yeah. But if you're using a lot based on the sheer numbers, most of them don't. That's why, when me and Farad were talking earlier, most people who've been pulled over by cops, they never saw the gun get pulled out. So I don't like saying that just indiscriminately, that they pull their guns out too early, because I can't. I ain't seen nothing that will bear that out. Even if we look at the killings, they didn't all happen this month. They happen over time, and I just that's just being logical. It's not being a cop. It's not being black. It's just looking at sheer numbers. It's kind of like the thing that says, just because you're a Republican doesn't mean you're racist, but most racists are Republicans. And I know a lot of Democratic racists. Well, you look suspicious, though. And don't get me wrong, I've had cops pull their guns on me. But I still have to understand, too, not that I'm making excuses for them, but I have to understand that the one time they pulled on, I was a bad guy. That was my lifestyle. That was what I was supposed to do. I didn't like it, but I understood it because everything about me and where I was at the time said be cautious. There have been other times, yeah. But once again, I can never, based on where I don't know what their fear factor is. Understand this, I pull my gun on people. Was I right? A couple times yes, a couple times no. But the no times came after yes times. And I was on adrenaline and pure fear because somebody had just done something to me. Which is why I say you have to take all that into effect. You might not have liked it, but understand, my job is to go home first. Robin said, I couldn't visit my granny. I couldn't. Not legally. Legally, I can't. And that's what most people understand. But the system is what it is. And if it's never challenged, then what happens? It gets to stay there. And if a cop enforces a law, even though it may not be one that you like, it's still a law. So when Granny said, oh, you locking up my grandbaby for nothing? Well, he's actually breaking the law. Granny, because you told him to come over here. You should have told him he can't come over here. But because you didn't read the contract, or like most people, they've never read a law book to know what's legal, illegal, and how do you commit these illegal or legal acts. They don't know. Mr. Smith, what's good with you? Talita, did you ever come up to the show page? Nope, and I'm still waiting. Latrinda, Rashid, I'm still waiting. Maria, Tim, Versailles, y'all know I'm still waiting. My Alzheimer ain't kicked in like that yet. Oh, goodness, it's 7:17. I've been doing this a whole hour. Adrian, why'd you leave the right page to come to the wrong page? Come back over. So this is what I'm saying. So when you want to get the system right, let's look at the punishments. If they do this, what happens? If they do this, what happens? Exactly. And me and my brother, we was talking about something about cops. Do you know, legally speaking, and this is just random, when you change your car tires, show page, when you change your car tires and you put these 20s on there, 22s, 24s, whatever, but it came with 16s, legally I can stop you. Because you're changing the safety features of the car, which means the car is unsafe for the road. That's why when people say cops ain't got nothing better to do, most of the time they actually do. If I just wanted to pull people over and we was riding through and I was telling everybody I could pull over. So come to that page. What's up, babe? Come to that page. So there are a lot of good reasons legally that I can pull almost anybody over anytime. It's easy for me to lock up people. If all I want to do is if I wanted to lock up 20 people a day, I could do that in less than 8 hours. And every lockup be legitimate. Am I abusing my authority? Am I really abusing my authority if I'm following the law? No, I'm not. So the laws need to be changed to take away some of these examples or reasons that people can get away. But let's be real. That law was put in place for what? For revenue, fraud. It was for revenue. Understand this now. This one has been there for a while. It's about the car safety thing. And sometimes we want to make things racist, but for a long time, we didn't even have cars like that. Other people did. It's kind of like when I tell people, if you really want to justify the system, and I ain't going to get too deep into this, DUI Task Force. DUI Task Force was made for uptown. Because they're the ones who can afford these fines. You can go to the hood and find drunk black people all day long. All you're going to do is keep them from driving. Most of them can't afford these fines. Have you seen the cost of a DUI attorney? They're more expensive than some murder attorneys. But these people need that. But, and that's why I'm saying, oh, they racist. DUI Task Force are normally in the northern parts of town. Because that's where the money is. That's where the money is. They don't go where the clubs are. They go where the money is. You see them all the time in Buckhead. Oh, okay. So, and that's the thing I want people to stay with. When we doing some things, we, blacks, we make it hard on ourselves. One, because we're so derogatory, which I want us to stop. niggas, bitches, all this. No, 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 no. Quit, especially in public. What we do behind closed doors, that's all well and good. But when we doing stuff publicly, let's act like we belong together. Because you don't see this happening to races that stand together. We're so locked in on this. Oh, I'm real G. I ain't snitching on nobody. I know people who won't snitch on cops just because they not snitching. Period. If that's your mentality, that's your mentality. But there are more people who see cops doing stuff that won't tell because they think that we all stick together than cops who will tell. And it's a crazy system. But because they believe that, they let cops get away with stuff. Oh, if I tell somebody, they ain't gonna do nothing. Once again, look at the little homeless chick that was getting raped by a cop. When she told and she gave them factual data, he went down. Facts are what we rely on. Respect each other. Right. Melinda, that's what I want to do. People say, oh, it's not this or so-and-so. Yeah. Martin Luther King respected black people, so did Malcolm X. But who killed Malcolm X? So we got to have a better system in play. Okay? As Tupac said, always wasn't working. What we trying now ain't working. Let's stop talking about boycotting. Let's stop talking about missing work. Most of us can't afford to miss work. So when people tell me that stuff, like back in the day, 18 months ago when Bill was talking about don't go to work, well, who the fuck is that supposed to serve? Let's boycott Walmart. What Walmart how many Walmarts have you been in that aren't primarily black workers? So if we don't tell our kids to go to work, who's going to supplement their income? Yeah, I mean, I'm a retiree. I get a check. I can sit there and say I ain't going to work. What am I losing? Nothing. But if me and my family, we in lower America, and I need my kids to help me pay rent, why would I boycott a place and then they cut their hours? See, that's not thinking of the big picture. When I tell people about the Birmingham bus boycott, which is what they love to bring up, the Birmingham bus boycott took a year of planning so that people who had to work, they had taxi drivers, carpools, they had everything so for these people to still get to work. So when they stopped riding the buses to prove a point, people didn't miss work. They had to find another way. So people carpool. So if we're going to do something productive to the system, once again, if we want to make a stand, hey, I don't know if y'all remember. I can't remember what it was. Ruben, if you're still here, what was it when we talked about all the white people who gave up the John Doe names when they all came to the jail that time? They had something sitting about something, and that's all they would give us. Every guy was named Jane Doe. Every guy was named John Doe. Every girl was named Jane Doe. We've changed systems. If we want to do something, once again, let's find out what's going on in these courthouses. Let's make a stand. Okay? Let's have a courthouse sitting in at a trial. When they having these trials about cops doing stuff, let's flood the courtrooms. Okay? Let's find out why these judges doing what they're doing. Ask your church to have judges come in and explain stuff to y'all. Ask when they have the chief of police or the sheriff come in and explain why things happen, what their system is for this or for that. That's when they don't want to come talk to us. They just want to come talk when it's time to vote. Our church support this. But when we need them to explain why things are going wrong, we don't ever get this. I've seen people comment about the frequency amount of checkpoints on the side. Right. And those checkpoints, let me tell you about the checkpoints. And people always think we ain't got nothing else to do. The checkpoints are specifically what they're for. We want to check IDs. Because you'll be surprised at how many criminals are driving cars. People who are wanted. We're going to do our stuff while we're there because we're bored. But the DUI task force is set up strictly to make money. You see very few DUI task force in the south side of town. Because they can't afford to pay the fines. And most of us ain't got licenses. But when we do the checkpoints, it's like I tell people, my issue with drug dealers. I've raided a ton of drug houses. There have been very few drug houses I raided that didn't have a child molester. Which is what we say is heinous. Oh man, that was a misunderstanding. Did you see how that girl looked? Dude, I don't care how she looks. She's still 14. But it's okay with the dope boys because they making money. So who is it that don't care about their own neighborhood? It's not that simple. But I don't want to get too off track. I want to stay. Thank you, Michelle. How you doing? I want to stay on the point of getting cop convictions, okay, or having realistic expectations. Because, like I said, some of them, I know how they look, but when you get down to the facts of what we know now, after you get to read stuff, what do the facts say this is worthy of a conviction or a suspension? A lot of times it's only worthy of a suspension. That's a lot of times. That's all it's worth. But because we make them give up so much so quick, it's not time to do an adequate investigation. 12 to 18 months to do an adequate murder investigation on regular people. Unless somebody confesses, 12 to 18 months on the regular people. On a cop, oh my goodness, you need, because you need witnesses. What happened prior to this? What happened prior to that? Like I said, I got stabbed in front of 6 officers. I got stabbed. Nobody ever saw her stab me. But when I started beating her, these same 5 officers they were complaining on me. They were complaining right there in front of people, saying what should happen to me. Now, when the paramedics showed up and they saw the blood, and then everybody changed their tone. But prior to that, nobody ever asked me why I hit her. Oh, Bill, you dead wrong for hitting the woman. Oh, I'm going to have your job, partner. And see, that's what I say. We don't even protect each other like the code is. I mean, because right there, they were on her side. Nobody ever said, D, why you hit that woman so many times? She stabbed me. She stabbed me. It hurt. I don't know if it ever been stabbed. I didn't say she cut me. She stabbed me. It hurt. I wasn't mentally prepared to be stabbed. I thought I was defending her. But she pulled out a little wooden peg out of her pole thing and poof, oh, she got me good. Oh, it hurt. It hurt. I didn't have no adrenaline going till she stabbed me. But that was the system. So that's what I'm saying. At a point, I can't even say that we're overprotective each other because they didn't jump in and help me hit her. They just watched. Eventually, I hit her like 3 times. She stopped, and I got up, and I handcuffed her, and everybody just bitching at me and yelling at me. What are you being too emotional about, Rosalind? I didn't see a statement from you to answer that one. Ask me a question. I don't know what you're saying you're emotional about. But so yeah, that's what we are with that. And like I said, I want to educate people on the likelihood of cops being convicted, what else is going to be needed, or if it's just a suspendable offense. Sometimes we don't use force the right way. Suspendable, most agencies, unless it's the second or third time. The first offense, you suspend them, you put them through retraining if they're retrainable. But I talked about this before. A lot goes down to supervision and management. I don't know if Ruben is still here, but most cops who do something have a history of it. Nobody's ever done anything about it because they either pass the buck or they don't share information. And that I tell them, if you don't want me to tell, don't put in a position where I have to. I'm not losing a 12-year career. Right. And most cops now, we're not prescribing to the theory. When I teach them, I tell you, hey, you gotta tell. Failure to tell means you're complicit. Because you know what? When something happened, the bad cop gonna say, oh yeah, so-and-so was there. Is it appropriate for police to police themselves? Police are supposed to police themselves. And there's a point when we start talking about felonies, at that point, no. Big Boy is in internal affairs. No, he's a detective now. Ruben was in internal affairs. Ruben shouldn't, for a felony, Ruben should not investigate anybody who works with Fulton County Sheriff's Department. DeKalb, Douglas, anywhere else, but not Fulton, because he's tainted by the system. Whether and this is for any agency, you're tainted by the system that you're already in. You're tainted by your superiors because they want an outcome. Ruben was a good dude. He didn't fall for what they wanted, because if he would, Ruben would have got 2 suspensions on me. They don't fall for that. But just to make everything clear, but for regular stuff, yeah. Everybody got used to review boards. And sometimes people do things to be suspended. They know this. Everybody knows this. But when we start talking about felony charges, police shouldn't be trusted to police themselves. And it's not because most of them are going to do the wrong thing. It's just they should never be put in that position. It's just not. It's kind of like asking a parent to police their kids. Most parents believe their kids don't do anything. You know why? Because most kids don't do anything in front of their parents. So that's not a good source. Go outside. If somebody keeps telling your kid is bad, don't keep cursing them out. Find out why they're saying your kid is bad. Most people don't want to do that. They just want to live with the image that they know of the kids, which is what cops know of other cops. 9 times out of 10, don't know what they see. Which is why I say bad cops don't do things in front of good cops. The first time a cop did something bad in front of me that I could articulate, specify, point to with clarity, I raised my hand. I became Serpico because I'm telling, I don't want nobody in my stuff. I ain't going to jail for nobody. I don't want to be suspended for nothing I didn't do. I don't mind getting suspended. Ruben, I'm going to tell you. But it needs to be something that I did. I'm not going to get suspended for other people. So, once I say we get back into the system where people don't have us a fair expectation. So, hey, if I can tell you, Freud, you still here with me? If I can tell you we're not going to get a conviction, and I can tell you why we not, then now we know how to change the system so we can start getting convictions. And that's what needs to be addressed from this police state. Right. And like I said, and Ruben was a great dude, but regardless of how great he was, you put everybody in an uncomfortable situation when you ask him to investigate me for a felony. Because Ruben, were you in internal affairs when this whole money thing came about back in the day? Do you think, Tommy? Yeah, I need for you to work. I'm gonna have to borrow some money. Do you think that police will ever change and like? Yeah, most police are changed. Most police agents are changed, but it takes a new police chief who comes in with an open mind and realizes that the old system doesn't work for the media. But some of them are too over the top, and there's some things you need police for. And if you're gonna have a citizen review board, you gotta have cops on the review board so they can explain the system. You can't have a bunch of civilians. They won't get it. They gonna think everything is either too much or too little. But they don't get the use of force because they don't have to live through it. They don't have to walk through it. They can't sit back and explain with emotion what happens at a traffic stop. They can't sit back and explain what happens when you go to a call where you don't have the right to use force, but all the things that lead you up to it that make you want to draw your gun before you get there. I don't want to get shot to shoot. I want to be on the preventive end. I'd rather pull my gun out and have to put it back than to get shot and try to get it out, but I can't now because I'm panicking. So you got to find that happy medium. And that's why we do the review boards, and that's why we do the scenarios, so that once I'm put in it, because I can tell you a lot of things, but until you're put in that situation, you really don't get it. Like I say, Melinda's a sweetheart. When she was kicking me, and she was kicking me to make me let go of her partner, because I had a death grip on her partner, but I had a partner in front of me, so there was no way she was going to get a shot off. She just wasn't that good. Nobody. Even if SWAT would have tried to shoot my hands from the way we were, to shoot my hands would have meant you would have had to shoot her still. That's not a good mix. All right, man, I'm gonna need y'all to stop fighting on the page. Okay, so a lot of things go into play. Like I said, I've seen videos. Everybody saying that was wrong. I was like, no, I can tell you why it wasn't wrong based on everything I'm looking at. Oh, you just saying it because no, I'm saying it because legally it's not wrong. Like I say, with the Trayvon Martin thing, I thought it was a travesty until I started looking into Florida law. Florida law said everything he did was by the book. He even called the cops. He called the cops. Now they told him, the dispatcher told him not to follow it, but he called the cops to let them know, hey, there's something going on. It's like he read the book. Based on everything I read, he was innocent. Based on Florida law. You don't have to like it. There was no cops for me to get personally involved with, but it was there. Management, excuse me, y'all want me to stay focused. Y'all can't keep fussing on the page. Odessa, can you get them a general reminder? But that's the system. So when we want to convict cops, or we want cops to do a better job, we have to know how the system works in order to fix the system, where the loopholes are. Those need to be closed, or at a minimum, they need to be tightened. But we never ever ask to see those. So if we don't know what those are, how do we fix them? If you don't know what the law says where you are, how do you stop and fix it? Because let me tell you something about murder. Murder will happen in one or two cases in most places. Either I intended to murder somebody, or I was doing something else felonious and the murder occurred. If I do a legitimate traffic stop, legitimate, and I shoot somebody, and I give all these other speeches, unless you can find out what my intent was, that I woke up that morning with the intent to shoot somebody, murder is going to be really hard to prove. No. Robert, what I'm saying is, I'm just saying how if you don't know the law, you don't understand it. That's why I was using the Trayvon case. The law in Florida specifically said he was okay with shooting Trayvon. That was the law. It wasn't my personal opinion, but once I read the law, he was innocent. So, and the point with that was Robert is saying when we try to convict cops, we have to know what the law says they can or cannot do versus and what their agency says. Is this suspendable? Is this fireable? Is this chargeable? Chargeable means he should go to court for it. And so that's why I was using the Trayvon Martin case, just because we don't know the law and we need to fix that if we want to start getting cop convictions. Like I said, the Sidney Dorsey case, it was almost 3 years before they went to trial. Neal Street took a minute. You can't rush through these. If you want convictions, you gotta take your time. You gotta take your time. Because one of the things I love about working with a task force I was with is that all the cops there are built to tear your case down. That's all they do is tear your case down. By tearing your case down, what they do is they make you investigate a little bit harder. Because anytime you think you got an open and shut case, you're gonna do a shitty investigation. Anytime you can make the investigators or the DA rush to take you to court because you request a speedy trial, you're going to get a shitty investigation because everybody has a predetermined outcome as opposed to taking their time and doing it right. This is this thing that when you get all these headline grabbers, when they get on TV, oh, this, and they pulling at your heartstrings. They pulling at you emotionally. With the Trayvon case, nobody ever said we should go to the Capitol and have them change this law. To this date, you haven't heard anybody say that. So what? What now? Everybody complaining about Trayvon being a travesty and it shouldn't happen. But what's been done to correct it? Nothing. Not one single thing. So how upset are we with it? Or are we just momentarily upset? Like I said, I haven't read the details yet about the woman who got killed in front of her kids. I'm gonna read that. The Trayvon stand ground law really was for Trayvon because he was pursued. That was no, and see, you becoming emotional. No, once he crossed onto that man's property, Robert, and he did cross his property to get to that. Once he crossed the property, that opened a whole floodgate. And this is where I say people have to know what the law says as opposed to the snippets that they pull out as emotional people. Because the man was on his property. He wasn't invited, so technically, legally, he was trespassing. He didn't follow an innocent citizen. That's what everybody keep wanting to say. Legally speaking, and once Trayvon crossed his property, he lost his innocent status, his innocent citizen status. He became a trespasser. Trespassing is against the law. It's a misdemeanor, which Florida has no bearing on whether the crime is a misdemeanor or felony. So once you read it and you let go of the civilian thought process that you guys are hitting me with and you go strictly with legal, you understand what I'm trying to say. And this is why I say you need to have somebody come in and tell you the loopholes in the case. Because some places specifically state it has to be a felony before you can go to that stand your ground defense. Rosin, where he was going has no bearing on the fact that he crossed over to that man's property. Legally, that's all we're talking about, and that's why you can't get emotionally involved into it. Everybody will give the answer you're giving are great if we're talking morality. But if you take a shortcut through a neighbor's property in Florida, the stand your ground law will kick in. There is no defense for the trespasser if he was just using it to cross over. Florida law doesn't have that. There are defenses for certain things. So if we don't change these, the system will always be there. And that's why I say it's better to have somebody like me, Ruben, Melinda, come and tell you guys, because if you and Robert in the same meeting, y'all agreeing with each other, and I'm not saying your agreement is wrong, from an ethical standard, from a legal standard, who cares? What you're saying makes no sense. Yeah, it was his property. I'm not sure if it said he jumped the fence, or what it said, but yeah, honey, it was on his property, and that's what made it kick in. And that was the thing, but you had to get past the headlines and get to the small print because we love the headlines. Well, cops have to look at the small print. What are the factors of this case? Remember I told you, legally to commit a crime, you have to know the elements of that crime. For instance, in Georgia, Georgia's a big thing. Nobody's really trespassing until you tell them that you don't want them on your property anymore. And even then, because the person said, "Oh, he never told me," it needs to be videoed or it needs to be done by a cop, which is why you see in a lot of stores, well, back in the day, the first time we arrested a shoplifter, we took their picture. It's them a trespass warrant until they couldn't come back on the property without being trespassed. So if they come back, when the police say, "I said, oh yeah, we told him don't come back," and he said, well, "They never told me," we go back, we pull out the Polaroid along with the notice that he signed or with a witness. Boom, because that's how specific the law was about trespassing. They have to be put on notice that they're trespassing before criminal trespassing kicks in. Florida doesn't have that same statute. Oh, jeez, if I step on someone's property, you can kill me. Not step on, but cross over. And that's just in Florida. And that's what I say. We have to know what some of these laws say, because some of them are so crazy. They're so crazy. I'm going to just give y'all a random one. Just super random, and this is just to lighten it up a little bit. Technically, legally speaking, in Georgia, welfare cannot exist because in Georgia, and this is all I'm talking about, sex is illegal unless it's with your spouse, and then it has to be face to face. So you legally cannot support an unwed mother because she committed a crime. So if she's not a victim of rape, why is the state supporting her for committing a crime? Go figure. But the laws aren't the same with every state because the states are all different. Georgia's in the middle of the Bible Belt, which is why we have some crazy sex laws. Other places don't have these same sex laws. Like I said, it really is the law that you can only have sex with your spouse face to face. Face to face. Face to face. It's your spouse, not a spouse. It has to be your spouse. This is Georgia's law in the middle of the Bible Belt. It's not one that they're really thinking about changing. Different states have different laws as it relates to trespassing, as it relates to killings. In Georgia, we only have murder, and assault. You got New York where they got murder 1, murder 2, murder 3. We only got 1 murder. No doggy style Roslyn, face to face with your spouse. Okay. Certain states now have changed the rape statute. Rape in and of itself specifically says rape can only be done by a man, because carnal knowledge in the general terms mean the man inserts his male reproductive organ into a female's reproductive organ. That is carnal knowledge, which is rape. Anal sex falls under, it's not rape, it's aggravated sexual battery, because the anus is not a sex, it's not an organ that can be reproduced, that reproduces. That was the code sex. I mean, you have to know the fine prints of it. And, some states have changed the law, rape laws, to where now a man can be raped. But legally, most states, a man cannot be raped. So stay focused. This ain't the After Dark show. So, and when people say stuff, this is why it's funny, because if you don't research, you know how you feel about this, you know how you feel about that. But it's not the law. And the law is what we got to deal with. Nobody cares about how we feel, because our feelings will change from day to day. The law is consistent. And that's what we have to know when we start doing things. Every time we hear a crime, the first thing you do is go to the code section and look it up. If they charge with this, these are the elements of that crime. Murder, for most time, requires an intent. So I got to prove intent. Without that, I don't have a murder charge. If I intended to commit a crime, which I went in here and gave the 7-Eleven the note, and I got a gun, see, I didn't intend to murder, which is why you get the felony murder, because I killed her while I was committing a crime. But the fact that I took a gun meant I was already thinking about if I had to kill somebody for this. That's the intent. Yeah, reproductive part. I mean, that was pretty much what it said for rape to exist, which is why a man can only rape a woman, and it had to be vaginal sex. Anything else is aggravated sexual battery. People didn't like it, but it's the law. You don't have to like it. You don't have to like it. And one person can be fixed. Doesn't change it. The organ has to have been one that will reproduce. That was just the law. And like I said, this is because I knew a lot of stuff. Because, I had to, when people ask me these things, this is what you base your credibility on. Why are you charging rape? I can't prove rape. Any good attorney can get this rape case thrown out. Even though everybody says, oh, that's rape, that's rape. It's not rape. A woman couldn't rape a man. In some states, a woman still cannot rape a man. He has no he can't reproduce. He can't reproduce, which means he can't be raped in a bunch of states. You don't have to like it. It's the law. And the law is what you got to know about when you're accusing somebody or you're defending something or you get mad about the outcome. So, once again, it's 7:45. When we're talking about these things, like I say, ask Ruben. Ruben's a great guy. He retired now, which means he can say whatever he want to say. I'm retired. I can say what I want to say. If you want to know how some of these things are done, like I say, if you got a question, inbox me. I'll inbox you back. If you want me to talk about it on the show, inbox me. I'll make it a show topic. But certain things have specific legal requirements. And we get caught up with being pissed because we don't understand these or we don't want to talk about them. Robber passes a note that says they have a gun, but don't a finger in their pocket. The charge is armed robbery. Yes. They don't have to have a gun. All you got to do is if I sell you aspirin and tell you it's cocaine because that's what I presented it as, whether it's real or not. That's what the law says. But yeah, it's armed robbery. Now, if I don't have anything but you assume it's a gun, then it's just robbery. But if I give you a note that says it, I already made it. So now, here's your trick though. So now, if you got this note and somebody does have and they shoot this guy, he doesn't have a gun, what happens to them? There's the law coming into play. As a cop, if I shoot an unarmed man because he had a note that said he had a gun, where do I stand? Different places differ on this. If I never saw the gun, it's one something. If I didn't get the note, it's one something. Why did I shoot him? Because he was robbing a bank. Well, most bank robbers have guns. I can use that as part of my circumstances. The fact that if he's got his hand, and let's say he's got like that, I saw something in his pocket that resembled a gun from the outside, circumstance, because I can't prove it was a gun, but he did have this. The note, along with it, may get me clear. In some places it won't, because they're going to holler, oh, he shot an unarmed man, because people don't understand when a lot of people do things because it's never in the reports, and this is why it's important a lot of times, and I'm not talking about any case that we're talking about right now, but it's like, and I tell people, when people do that people get mad at cops for defending themselves, but I tell cops all the time, you don't ever have to be hit. All somebody do is make a furtive attempt, which means they make a gesture that is like when somebody wants to hit you. That's when you defend yourself. See, if a guy say, oh, as soon as I get to my car, I'm going to get my gun and I'm going to shoot you. If he opens that car door, he getting shot. I don't have to wait for him to get the gun to prove he's got one. He issued the verbal threat that said he had a gun, he was going to get a gun. And we'll talk about what you got to have to shoot somebody so you guys understand. Ability, and I'm going to give you 4 things because Big Boy's on the right path. Ability, opportunity, and jeopardy are the things that are required for shooting. And further behavior. And I'm going to tell you about that. Ability means you have to be able to get all that in. You have to be able to get these things in. Ability, opportunity, jeopardy. Nobody cares about you being scared if you're a cop. You being scared, you should be scared every time you go to work because you don't know what's going to happen. But until somebody puts me in harm's way, ability, opportunity, and jeopardy. There needs to be some reason I think they have a gun or weapon that can hurt me. I need to be close to that, and they need to be facing me. See, a guy facing that way, away from me, or facing the same direction, he's not a threat to me. Even if he got a gun, he got to shoot behind himself, which means he got to do a lot of things. Okay? A lot of things. As long as he's shooting that way, he ain't a threat to me. Now, if people are that way, I get to shoot them because I'm defending others, and the law is clear on that. But just to say, oh, I was scared, that's why I shot him. No, sir. That's never defensible. Never, ever. Michelle can say that. So can say that. But if you are a cop or were a cop, you can never use that defense again because you were trained on what it requires to shoot somebody. Preclusion. Preclusion means you make a motion. Like I said, if I see the guy with a gun, he's facing that way, and I'm saying, hey, sir, drop the gun, yada, yada, yada. Once he starts turning toward me, I get to drop him because he's turning toward me with the gun. I don't have to let all these be facing me. The ability, he's got the gun in his hand. Opportunity, he's got the gun out. The jeopardy, he's turning, which is also the preclusion. Those are the 4 things that I started teaching about using deadly force because the 4th one is one that other states use. So you need 4 factors before you engage in deadly force. I like that. I'd rather be proactive than reactive. So I try to tell people these things. So once again, we want to do better. We have to know better. We have to know better. We have to stop putting ourselves in positions where knowing better. I mean, even like now, I tell people, Facebook Live is a great friend. So are most of these cell phones. They have cameras on them. If you get pulled over by the cops, go ahead and hit the record button. go ahead and just hit the record button. And hit the record button first. Then call somebody. Because a lot of phones won't let you call then record. But they will let you start recording and then call. So that you got somebody on the phone who can listen. But hit that record button. Most cops don't care about you recording what they're doing. And most of your phones, if the cop takes your phone or whatever, it's going to save it to your cloud or to your storage space. Whatever it is you got going. Hey, Blunder, what's good? I'm going to need you to come on over here to my show page. Like the page there. Like the page. Leave me a good review. So, and this is what I try to tell people. And, you know, they want to accuse me of things. But all I'm telling you is I'm speaking factually. Because I can't let my emotions give you bad information. And I can't let your emotions be upset about something that was never going to happen. Because the people who you believe are leaders will tell you things that aren't true. They'll have you believing they can get a conviction for a crime that wasn't committed. It was an error in judgment that looked like a crime, but it really wasn't a crime based purely on the law, not the circumstances, not what my eyes are telling me. I teach this to people all the time. Don't believe what you see until you hear it. Don't believe what you hear until you see it. You need both of them to coincide with each other because you need to know what got us to this point of the shooting. The shooting is cute, but how do we get here? Without that information, a lot of shootings are just shootings. They're not murders. They're not anything else based on the 3 to 5 minute clip we get. Something had to get us there. Can we get that 911 tape? What brought him here? If you were here about a stray dog and you jumped out the car with a gun, you dead wrong. Stray dogs don't get you that. Now, if we come into a call where, and that's why you got to be really careful about calling 911. We come into a call with a woman screaming that her husband is about to shoot her. Cop shot a guy. Cascade. The call came that this lady's son was threatening her with a knife. This was before tasers. So when they get to the door, dude is coming in with a knife. What are they supposed to do? It's only so far you're going to run and retreat. They shot him. She wanted to tell him about his mental history. She's upset because they shot her son. But your son was trying to stab you. He don't know me. You know, like, Bill, don't you think they could have did something? Tell me what they could have done with a guy coming with a knife. And if any guys never been charged with a knife, holler at me. Let me show you what a knife can do and how quick it'll do it. They did what they could do. Him being mentally handicapped, we hated it all. But that's probably something she should have put in. She should have gave them up front. This is not stuff you can learn on the fly. You don't have time to see if somebody's mentally stable or not when they come at you with a knife. If they understand what their true intent is. When she called 911 and said he was trying to stab her, see, that already put in mind. He's a built opportunity in jeopardy. They're in the same place at the same time he got a knife in his hand, he already trying to stab her. Those are 3 things I need to know the shooting. Now, when we get to the door and you're knowing he's coming at me, that's preclusion, because now he's coming at me. You might not feel like defending yourself, but it's somebody who I've always felt like defending all the time, and that's me. So if I was like, oh, but they could have did this, they could have did a lot of shit. They could have let him stab him. That would have made mom happy. The shooting was not wrong. They put 4 shots in him. Each cop got a double tap, which is what they're taught. Shooting, it's a good shoot. Oh, they ain't have to shoot him 4 times. We're taught to double tap. We're taught that. They did what they were trained to do. Well, why they couldn't talk to him? What did you say to a man coming at you with a knife? You say drop the knife, and what else? Can I have your phone number? Do you got some tea? Have you been to the bathroom yet? Are you sure this is what you want to do? Tell me what you say to a man coming at you with a knife. Oh, cops are trained to get stabbed. Nobody's trained to get stabbed. We're not trained to get stabbed. We're not trained to get shot. We're not trained to get spit on. When I see people type this dumb stuff, I just think go to the academy. Some of y'all ain't got shit else to do. Volunteer to go to the academy. You don't get trained for this. Nobody can train you to be spit on. Nobody. It's the dumbest thing I ever heard going. Wow, it's 7:54. I've taken up enough of you guys' time. You got any questions for me before I get ready to depart? I actually had 2 subjects, but I guess I'll just wait. I'm gonna do some research on this other shooting. I still won't comment because I never comment. If you know me, I never comment initially. I don't post stories. None of it because I don't. I would have loved to participate with the thing about where you name it the black that got killed and the verdict, but some of them should have been innocent. So I can't post that one in good conscience. Uh, you something else, Belinda. How you doing? How you been? Um, but yeah, I mean, if you got questions, like I said, feel free to inbox me if you want me to talk about it on the show. Once again, feel free to inbox me, and I'll do some things to make it a show topic. But I will not comment on ongoing investigations. It's just worthless until you find out more. I mean, I can tell you some things that I read. You can send me articles. I can tell you what they mean to you in lay terms. But a lot of times, what you reading will give you enough just to get you upset. You have to read a little bit further and deeper to find out if you should be upset with the person or with your lawmakers. Hey, Miss Alonzo, how are you? But like I say, the plan is to do a Law and Order series. But like I say, it's just you guys have got to tell me things that you want to know. Melinda, don't forget to. I think you already like the page, but make sure you do a review. 5 stars, pretty please, 5 stars. And what do you do now? Why you don't ask me to come speak no more? I'm feeling some kind of way. Am I still blackball? Yeah, if you guys got questions or comments or whatever. No, and honey, what I'm saying, and this is the thing, it's that we profile it because if you do this, because I had to do this for some SCLC people. Google whites killed by black officers, and look at what you find. You'll find it happened in Alabama. Nobody heard anything about it. It's a lot of it going on. We just fuss more. But Google that, and you'll see a lot of things. You'll see a lot of things going on. The media just pick certain things because they get people who will come out and be all emotional and give them good ratings, which is what everybody wants. And so we don't know these things because I mean I had a guy argue that whites are never killed by blacks. I mean there's one where a guy was shot. I want to say it was either Alabama or Arizona. Simply surrounded by a SWAT team. They ordered him out of the building. He reached to pull his pants back up because they were coming down. 3 shots. I read a lot about that. It's so wrong on so many levels. He is dead because his pants were coming down and he tried to pull them back up. The fact they were coming down means there couldn't have been a gun in there. He's surrounded by SWAT guys. He's surrounded by police. You got shot for pulling your pants up. Hard to explain. Hard to explain. But yeah, Google it sometimes and see what you'll find out. And don't get me wrong, they're not saying that every black killing is justified. They're saying it doesn't meet the legal requirements for what they're being charged with. And sometimes the charge shouldn't be murder, honey. And that's what I got to get people to say. Sometimes the charge, based on everything else that's going on, maybe ag assault, maybe involuntary, because somebody did die. But did the reason they died meet the requirements for murder? Don't let your emotions dictate the charge. Look at the crime if you truly want to get these people off the street. Because what happens is, some of these guys is never on their record because if you're not convicted, it doesn't go on your criminal record. Some of these guys can get jobs with other agencies simply because the process worked exactly like it was supposed to, and we didn't do what we were supposed to. We didn't charge them appropriately. We didn't articulate the things that need to be articulated, and some of these things just happen wrong for the wrong reasons. But they're all legal, and that's what we have to do. We have to get more into research and knowing what it is we're arguing about, what it is we're fussing about, what it is we're fighting for, as opposed to just being headstrong and emotional. There's nothing wrong with emotions. I do love it. I love it when you guys hit me with stuff and I can explain it to you. I think that's part of what makes the show so good, which is why I want to do an audience, because you guys give me good stuff. And luckily y'all aren't intimidated by me. Y'all know I'm not intimidated by y'all. I'm not going to block you. I'm not going to tell you to be quiet. What you give me is what I'm going to try to answer the best way I can. If you don't understand, I'm going to give it to you even more. So hopefully I can get you to understand, not me siding with somebody, but me just understanding the law a little bit better than you do. Because I need your emotions, because that's where your passion comes from. My passion comes from wanting us to do the right thing so that we can get these renegades off the street. Because you'll see way more of them than I will. You'll hear stuff more so than I will. Because people, oh, you ain't going to do nothing because you a cop, yeah. Well, like I said, check my history. I've been instrumental in more than 2 going to prison. I'm proud of that. It probably cost me a promotion or 2. but I can sleep at night. So, that's what's up. They got to figure out what they charge. Right. And the charge has got to be something that's real and not emotional so that the people are happy. We want to charge with murder. You don't want to charge with murder. You want to charge with aggravated assault. You want to charge with aggravated battery. Murder is not always a charge when somebody dies because they did anything, any small little thing, the slightest bit of physical resistance. They set in motion a cycle of things which you can't overcome. And that's the loophole in the system. Because once I know, oh yeah, legally speaking, if I'm injured, I can use deadly force a little bit quicker. So when I know that this is what you want to do, I'm going to tell you about my sprained ankle. I'm going to tell you about how I hurt my knee. I'm going to tell you about whatever it is, because now I know what you're looking at. And before anybody has a chance to ask me these questions or review my medical records, the trial is in play. It's too late now. I got an excuse. And you can't go back and do your investigation because you should have did it in the first place to see if I was healthy. Damn. That's the system. It's 8 o'clock, so y'all know what it is. I hope y'all enjoyed the show. For those of y'all who ain't been here before or haven't done so, Rosalind, go to the show page, Random Thoughts with DVP. Leave me a review. Like the page. Tell your friends to like the page. You know what I'm saying? Tell them to just come. Doesn't matter when they come. Just come and give me a listen. If they like it, come back. If they don't. But, the reviews are free. To like the page is free. So I would appreciate y'all doing this. But it's that time. I got to do what I got to do. So y'all know what it is. Oh, hold on. I'll see you guys in 6 days and 22 hours. Peace, popcorn, and chicken grease. All right. Easy Rock, I ain't forgot you. I just been running like crazy. Thank you, honey. And anytime you want to hit me up, I'll shoot you on. Anytime you need me to come talk to somebody, let me know. I got you. I just need people who are open-minded and don't want to just sit and yell at me like I'm the bad guy. But if they want to ask me questions and I explain stuff to them, I'm all down for that. But, I ain't got time to be called names just because you don't like what I'm giving you. And what I'm giving you is what the system says is there. All right? So, yeah. Peace, popcorn, and chicken grease. I'll see you guys 6 days, 22 hours. Thanks. Like it, pass it on, share it to your page, get people to come like the page. If you ain't done a review, leave a review. You can find the show here on Facebook and on YouTube, same name, Random Thoughts with DVP. Bye, management.